Okay, welcome back for video 2. This is combining functions. Again, this should look familiar. This is just Algebra 1 review stuff. So down here, if you look, we are going to take and we're going to combine the functions f and g in different ways. The first one, something written like this, it means it wants you to take the f function and add it to the g function. And there are various ways to write these, so I'm going to kind of show you some different ways. But in this one here, the f function is x squared minus 7x, and to that I want to add the g function, which is 3x minus 21. Just going to add the two together. So when I add, the first step here would be to remove the parentheses, and then look for like terms. So I don't have any other x squared, but the negative 7x and the positive 3x, I can put that together to make negative 4x. And then again, that 21 in the end, there's nothing that matches that. So f plus g would look something like that. So it's things you've done before, but it's just a little bit different of a notation. One written like this is just saying, hey, take the g function, subtract the f function. So there are a little bit different variations of notation, just trying to show you some things you might see if you're taking that ACT. So in this case, g of x is 3x minus 21. And then I'm going to subtract the f function, x squared minus 7x. First thing I'm going to do is remove the parentheses. Now, when you go to subtract, I always think of like there's a negative 1 there. So technically, you're distributing that negative to that second parenthesis. So that x squared is actually going to be a negative x squared, and that 7x is actually going to turn to be positive. And now I can kind of put it in order. I always put the biggest exponent first. So negative x squared, I like to go in order of exponents. That's probably the most common way you're going to see these. The 3x gets combined with the 7x to make 10. And then that negative 21 again doesn't have a match. Okay, so we did an adding one and a subtracting one, just showing you some different notations you might see those in. Okay, so let's maybe look at some multiplying and dividing. Okay, so multiplying, I got x squared minus 7x. And 3x minus 21. So when I multiply this, you can either think distributive, FOIL, some of you might have learned to put it in a box. Whatever method you feel most comfortable with, feel free to use. I'm going to do FOIL, so I'm going to multiply the firsts together. If it helps, this is x to the first, so if you have x squared times x to the first, that's actually x to the third power. And then I'm going to take x squared times negative 21. And then I'm going to take negative 7x times positive 3x, which actually works out to be another negative 21x squared. And then negative 7x times negative 21 there, which is 147x. Looking at like terms, I don't have any other cubes, but those 2x squareds I can put together and make negative 42, and then the 147x on the end. Okay, so when you're multiplying, probably think distributed, foiling, those kind of things. Okay, division. You got g of x divided by f of x. So I'm at 3x minus 21 over x squared minus 7x. Now, when you're doing division, you should always check to see if something can factor. If it can, you do want to factor and simplify factors. Okay, if you cannot factor, can't do anything more, you're just done. But I know on this one, when I'm looking at the top, there's a GCF of 3. So I factor out that 3. And when I do that, I'm left with x minus 7. And I can double check because 3 times x, 3 times 7, that's going to make 3x minus 21. Again, on the bottom, the denominator there, I can see they both have an x in common. So I'm going to pull out that x, do another GCF, and I'm going to be left with x minus 7. Now what's nice is if I have any number divided by itself, that's 1. So x minus 7 and x minus 7 can kind of cancel out because it makes a 1. So I'm left with 3 over x. You should put a notation. You can't divide by 0, so generally they might have a restriction on the domain. So if you see something like that, like x isn't equal to 0, that's just to help us make sure that the problem's going to work out. Okay? I want you to maybe try these two. So if you want to hit pause on the video and try those two and see if you kind of come up with what I come up with. So hit pause and give them a try in your notebook. Okay, let's see how you did. So f plus g, so 5x plus 10, then I'm going to add x squared minus x minus 6. Okay, if I remove parentheses, Okay, nothing will change there. And now I look for like terms and put things in order. I'm going to put the x squared first. The 5 minus 1x is 4x, and 10 minus 6 is positive 4. So how'd you do? Did you get that one right? If not, hopefully you can maybe follow what I did and see where your mistake was. Okay, this one over here is telling us to take f and subtract g. So 5x plus 10 minus x squared minus x minus 6. So again, on this one, when I remove the parentheses, there's like a -1 here. So I'm distributing -1 to all three terms, which makes negative x squared, positive x, positive 6. From there, I look for like terms, put things in order. I got the x squared. Let's see, I got a 5x and a 1x. That makes 6 x's. And then I've got the 10 with the 6, which makes plus 16. Okay? So hopefully if you didn't get this one right, you can at least follow along. Okay, same thing here. We've got a multiplying and a dividing one. Once you hit pause on the video and try these two in your notebook, make sure you kind of know what's going on, and then go ahead and hit resume the video and see if you get what I got. Okay, so this one I'm going to take 5x plus 10 times x squared minus x minus 6. And I'm going to just start distributing. That'd be 5x to the third minus 5x squared minus 30x. Now I'm going to distribute the 10. So plus 10x squared minus 10x minus 60. Putting like terms together, 5x cubed. Let's see, I've got this one and this one go together, so 5x squared if I combine those. And then I've got negative 30x and negative 10x would make negative 40x. And then I've got that negative 60 on the end. So how'd you do on that one? That was had a lot of terms, and it could be really easy to miss an exponent, so careful of that. Okay, the last one over here, we got f of x divided by g of x. So hopefully you at least knew to put 5x plus 10 on top and x squared minus x minus 6 on the bottom. And then we look to see if we can factor. So on the top, or on the numerator, I realize I can take out a 5. So if I do a GCF of a 5, and I can double check to make sure that makes 5x plus 10. The bottom, I can see it's a trinomial. Some of you guys like the trident method. I personally just do backwards foiling, so whatever works for you. I know some of you like the grouping method on something like that. You pick what works. I'm going to go x and x. For 6, I could do 3 and 2. And I want the 3 to be negative and the 2 to be positive so that it makes that -1 in the middle. If I look, I can see they both have an x plus 2, so that any number divided by itself is 1, so I can cancel that out. And I'm left with 5 on top and x minus 3 on the bottom. But keep in mind on the domain you can't divide by 0, so on one like this I would say x is not equal to 3. Okay, so again, good habit to kind of make sure you put some restrictions on your domain so your problem works out. Okay, so that's it for combining functions. Again, this should look kind of familiar to Algebra 1, so hopefully you did pretty well. If not, I'll be on Zoom. At this point, pause this or stop this video and then go do the couple problems in the Google slide and check your answers and write up your little